Welcome back to the Lumiose Post, where we talk about all things Pokemon, and just a little warning for today's episode, there are going to be some big spoilers for the new Pokemon anime, Pokemon Horizons. So, definitely if you're wanting to watch the anime and you've somehow managed to remain unspoiled about big things from this, then I would not watch this video now. I would click the watch later button and watch it after you are caught up with Horizons. Also, just a kind of light warning for spoilers for the Indigo Disc DLC for Scarlet and Violet. I do not know what's going to happen in the Indigo Disc, but I am going to talk about potentially some plot elements from the Indigo Disc. So if, you're just like, nope, don't even want anything that could possibly be the plot, then maybe this isn't the video for you. But again, watch later and see if I got it right when the Indigo Disc releases in, forever from now. But yeah, so what we're talking about is, assuming that everyone who doesn't want to be here is, gone, last chance, okay. What we're talking about is obviously that moment from Pokemon Horizons where Liko's pendant turns out to be a little Terapagos, whether this is a baby Terapagos, like a pre-evolution to Terapagos, or if this is an alternate form of Terapagos, like this is it depowered, and Terapagos is, its powered up version. The art that we've previously seen is its powered up version. We don't know. Personally, I would lean towards this being a pre-evolution, just because I feel like if they were both Terapagos, and Terapagos was powered up, like the one that we've seen the official art of, that one is powered up, I would imagine they'd actually just show the baby instead, and not, the depowered form, and not the powered up form. That just seems kind of weird to me to show the powered up form. You'd think they'd leave that as a surprise, just like how they showed Calyrex, but never showed its forms where it is fused with the steeds, right? So I'm leaning towards this being a pre-evolution, or perhaps this is maybe a kind of Zygarde situation where this is like a cell of Terapagos. I imagine it'll be called something else, but yeah, maybe it's something like that. Or even it's a Pokemon that could be very similar to like Fione and Manaphy, where it's a Pokemon that is directly connected to Terapagos, but is not a pre-evolution to Terapagos. As in, if I catch this Pokemon and I raise it, at no point will it evolve into Terapagos. We're going to get into why I think all of these things by talking about how I think that Terapagos is currently with you on your game right now as we speak. Okay, so when you're playing through Scarlet and Violet, you eventually get the Terra Orb from Nemona, and this was announced, way before the games came out, because obviously they were talking about the terrestrialization phenomenon, and that was one thing they touched on was, hey, you do this with a Terra Orb. And I always thought it was interesting from the get-go. When I saw this Terra Orb, I remember thinking, that's kind of strange that they made it look like a Pokeball. It does. It's got the, it's a ball shape. It has the, line in the middle around it, and it even has, the little button, where you'd click the Pokeball, and, I've got one here. It even has, something like this, where you would click it, and it would open, or whatever, But we, obviously, no, it's not a Pokeball. It is a Terra Orb, and I think that's so interesting, because if you look at the previous devices used to use the generational gimmick, they are not anything like this. They, a Mega Stone, a Keystone, it's just a rock, and then the Mega Stone can be in a band, or a ring, a lipstick, even. So, it's nothing like this. A Z-Ring, it's just, a Z-Ring. It's just a little bracelet on you. Z crystals are just little crystals that you put on the Z-Ring. Again, super basic, not a Pokeball. And then Dynamax bands, again, just a little wristband, so by no means a Pokeball shape. They all kind of fit similar together in that there was something you were wearing around your wrist, right? But this, no, it's a Pokeball, and you launch it at your Pokemon to cause your Pokemon to terrestrialize. So what I'm proposing is the choice to make this look like a Pokeball was intentional. We know that the Terra Orbs are created, or were created rather, by Professors Sada or Turo, depending on the version of the game you're playing, who are in Area Zero researching, Paradox Pokemon and very likely the terrestrialization phenomenon. And so I think that what happened is they were able to find a way to harness Terapagos' power. This would make sense for a number of reasons. For one, they were able to create the Terra Orbs, something that allows you to control the terrestrialization phenomenon, you to terrestrialize your Pokemon at any point. They were able to harness that. We also know, later in the game, they actually build a time machine and are able to have Paradox Pokemon just come out of it, at any point, just with the click of their button. We even saw, they got a Pokeball from their time machine, and it contained a Paradox Pokemon in it. So again, they have clearly learned how to capture Terapagos' power, and I think what we'll end up finding out is the reason why is because they were able to capture Terapagos itself, or at least a part of Terapagos of some kind. And I think that they're storing it in the Terra Orb. If you look very closely into the Terra Orb, you can see a weird stone-like structure, and you'll see that this actually looks very similar to the stone-like structure in the middle of Terapagos, as well as this new baby Terapagos, as we're going to call it. And it also happens to look very similar to Liko's pendant in Pokemon Horizons. Now, we actually know in Pokemon Horizons, Liko's pendant is this baby Terapagos. It comes out of that pendant and it goes back into the pendant. So it is the baby Terapagos. So then, hypothetically, that little stone inside that Terra Orb, that's a baby Terapagos. Now, that would mean that you, the player, ever since getting your Terra Orb from Nemona, have been traveling with the baby Terapagos. But that's kind of where we get to a little breach in the theory. How is it that your Terra Orb contains a baby Terapagos, but we know all Terra Orbs look like this? So that would mean, hypothetically, Nemona's Terra Orb also contains a baby Terapagos. And, all the gym leaders, their orbs contain it, and all the teachers that can terrestrialize, their orbs contain a baby Terapagos. And yeah, they do. And that's why I think that these are not going to be baby Terapagoses or even a form of Terapagos. I believe that this is something else. Either a Zygarde-like situation where this is like a cell and perhaps uniting a bunch of the Terra Orbs will cause all the pendants to come out and, all these baby turtles will be able to form one Terapagos. Perhaps that is the case. Or this could be like a Manaphy Fione situation where these are offspring of Terapagos that Sada and Toro captured to use for the terrestrialization phenomenon. Now these are, again, like Manaphy and Fione, these are not going to ever become Terapagos. They are just offsprings of Terapagos, perhaps even used by Terapagos as a way of monitoring the region. Again, very similar to how Zygarde does through its Zygarde cells. We also know that when a Pokemon terrestrializes, they have a little hexagon on their forehead that has these eyes. Again, that will be Terapagos watching over things and taking control of the Pokemon, basically, all through the use of its spy, if you will. This would make sense as it's a easy way to explain how Terapagos is involved with everyone's Terra Orb, but it's not like everyone's Terra Orb is containing a massive legendary Pokemon that frankly is god level, like Arceus or something. I'm assuming it is because it is able to, create Paradox Pokemon, create the terrestrialization phenomenon. So it's a powerful Pokemon, and I doubt that it is in just every single Terra Orb ever. Now, you may be going, okay, that's really dark that Sada and Turo would do this. But again, you have to remember that Sada and Turo weren't good people. I think that people kind of remember the AI and how the AI was a good, person and think that that's Sada and Turo. But it actually really wasn't. Sada and Turo, I wouldn't say they're outright evil. They just seem to have a lot of... No, actually, scratch that. They are outright evil. They really are. I mean, it seems that, yeah, they really did care about Arven, but they were still evil people. They wanted to bring back Paradox Pokemon and allow them to live amongst modern-day Pokemon, and they were well aware that that would be detrimental to the ecosystem, to the lives of modern-day Pokemon, all that stuff. It could, I mean, that's seriously, that is super messed up. They could do, they seen Jurassic Park? That never works. But they were willing to do it anyways because they wanted that so much. They were so set on their goal, they didn't care what happened. So yeah, I think that if their initial goal was, hey, I want to see how we can harness the power of terrestrialization. Let's go into Area Zero. Let's do some research. Oh, there are these little, like, offspring of whatever this legendary is that the Scarlet and Violet book talks about, that is responsible for the terrestrialization phenomenon. Let's throw it in a makeshift Pokeball so that we can harness that power. Again, the important thing to remember in all of this is that Sada and Turo were not good people. Now, I think that, you know, some points that I'd say are against this are that is a very dark way to go. So I would imagine that, you know, it wouldn't make sense for the plot to still allow us to terrestrialize after the Indigo Disc when we find out, oh, we're keeping little baby Terapagoses in here hostage. You know, they would obviously, you know, you'd say, okay, well, then we're going to free them. And then, obviously, you wouldn't be able to terrestrialize. So, there would have to be some kind of twist where, like, no, these are cells, and it's fine, it's okay, it wasn't a malicious thing. Or even a thing of, like, Terapagos, you know, allows this because he wants to, again, see the world and keep an eye over things, keep watch through things, through these offsprings or through its cells, whatever it may be. Now, again, you know, this is a super kind of whack job theory, but this also isn't the first time that we've seen something about a special Pokeball-like item that contains a legendary Pokemon. I mean, remember, that was the whole initial purpose of the GS ball, right? Was that it was supposed to contain Celebi. They even had a whole plot that they scrapped with the Pokemon anime, which, again, you know, ties us back to Pokemon Horizons, with that being the new anime, and there being something that contains a Pokemon inside it. It really seems like they've heard our cries about how we hated that scrap GS ball plot, and have really made it canon in both the animes with Liko's necklace and in the actual games with our Terra Orbs. I do firmly believe our Terra Orbs will be these baby Terapagos. Now, whether this is a baby Terapagos, a depowered Terapagos, a offspring of Terapagos that can't evolve into it like Manaphy and Fione, or even a cell of Terapagos or spy of Terapagos, piece of it like Zygarde and its cells, I don't know. I am, again, leaning towards a more Manaphy and Fione situation, or a situation where it's like Zygarde and its cells. But I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, so obviously drop it down below. Love to hear your thoughts. Also, tell me what you think of this little baby Terapagos thing. I think it's really cute. Lot of soft shell turtle vibes. I definitely think Terapagos is cooler. It kind of masters that whole being beautiful, being cool, and being cute all in one, whereas this thing is really more just cute and is a little, you know, dopey looking, but I do like it a lot. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well, though. So again, drop that. I can't speak today. I'm so excited about this thing. Drop that in the comments below as well. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. This episode, or these two episodes rather, of Pokemon Horizons has given me a lot of thoughts, and it's kind of really just gotten my creative juices going on things I want to make videos on pertaining all around this. So again, if you want to stay up to date on that kind of stuff, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. And until next time, I will see all of you later.